Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Tuesday edition of Video Clips, which is brought to you by Wellness Forum Health, the Wellness Forum Institute, and Make Americans Free Again. First of all, a couple big announcements. Next week is the How to Care for and Feed Your Brain, Your Skin, Your Mouth, Your Esophagus, Your Stomach, Your colon, Your microbiome, Your immune system. We're going to start at the top of the body and work our way organ by organ through the entire body. And I promise I will share some things with you that you don't know about yet about how to take good care of all of your body parts and have them all intact for the entirety of your life. That's what we should endeavor to do. This is only $199 for members, $299 for non-members. It's 2 nights. I already have 300 slides, which is why we knew we couldn't, and I'm not finished yet, which is why we knew we couldn't finish this in one evening. We'd be up all night. So it's 2 nights in a row, Monday, September 8th, Tuesday, September 9th, and there is time to register. And then the 6-week fall boot camp class every day, 4 days a week for 6 weeks. So you get 6 yoga classes, 6 workouts, 6 health lectures, 6 cooking classes with recipes. And the whole idea is lots of education and hopefully get you moving. But the other thing is getting you in the habit of doing something every single day so that you can be successful with your health improvement efforts. A lot of people know what to do, they're just not very consistent with it. And so this particular boot camp, we scheduled it to go on for 6 weeks because we want to get people into good habits. We'll film these. They take place at 2 o'clock every day, and it isn't going to work for everybody no matter when we schedule it. So we'll film it. And for those of you who are members, we'll stick it in your documents tab. That's one of the benefits of being a member is things like the Make Americans Healthy Again, the professional development stuff that we do for free. A lot of these big programs, both paid and unpaid, you get access to them as long as you're a member in your documents tab. So it's a good reason to join. All right, I have a couple of news items to share that will make you motivated, I think, to participate in the boot camp and how to care and feed and join Wellness Forum because they really both illustrate the importance of taking care of ourselves because the medical system is not going to do it for us. I mean, we all know that, but the extent to which it's not going to do it for us is sometimes just hard to fathom. Okay, so as our regular members know, there are hundreds of studies showing that a low-fat, plant-based diet reduces the risk of and can even reverse coronary artery disease. Dr. Esselstyn's longitudinal study spanning over 4 decades now has shown that even terminally ill cardiac patients can live and thrive for a very long time, decades even, after adopting such a diet. Most doctors don't know it. In fact, a survey of academic docs and trainees showed that only 0.3% were aware of and had adopted a plant-based diet. That's pretty disturbing, right? A survey of cardiologists was just as dismal, with 87% reporting that they received no education in lifestyle medicine during their medical training. Despite this, 41% of doctors reported that they frequently recommend a whole foods plant-based diet to their patients for preventing coronary artery disease. So, someplace along the line, they get the idea that they should be talking to people about eating more fruits and vegetables. I mean, the definition of a plant-based diet can be kind of fuzzy. But what was interesting was that only 8% had adopted this diet themselves. In other words, they seem to know that more plants is good, but they don't do it themselves. Much like many people, including some of you watching this video, where you know what you should be doing, but you postpone it until sometimes something terrible happens, like a heart attack or cancer, and then everybody gets really busy and dedicated to changing their life. I've always thought it'd be a good idea to do it before then. Many of the doctors surveyed expressed concerns about plant-based eating. 28% were worried about getting enough protein. Oh my gosh, right? 40% were concerned about social and cultural pushback as an impediment to compliance, and 63% were concerned about the patient's actual ability to follow through and maintain such a diet. So, lack of training is responsible for confusion about the diet. Oh my gosh, where are people going to get their protein? And also concerns about how to make healthy eating work regardless of cultural and social issues. I mean, that's what we teach health professionals, how to teach their clients what to do and how to succeed. There are ways to do this. It's not as hard as most people think. In fact, what we hear most often, this is not as hard as I thought it was going to be, and the food is a whole lot better than I thought it was going to be. Both of those terrific to hear. The docs also were not doing so well on other areas which are important for health, with 69% reporting that they drank alcohol and 34% saying they did it every week. Obviously, the food versus treat and when to have treats like alcohol and cake, not super clear for this group. Over two-thirds said they had trouble maintaining social connections, even though 84% reported that they understood the importance of connection to others. So the bottom line is doctors aren't taught how to use diet and lifestyle intervention in practice. They're confused about the best diet. They don't know how to follow a healthy lifestyle themselves. And it's almost impossible to think that a group of people who can't take care of themselves properly are going to be able to counsel others on how to take care of themselves properly. And I've said for a long time, health professionals should be modeling good behavior. And in our training programs, I tell health professionals all the time, sorting out how to do this when you're busy and how to batch cook and how to do this when you're on vacation and when you're at your family reunion. It will help you to help others. So when people who don't know how to do this are trying to tell others how to do this, it doesn't work out so well. And that's not really very surprising when you think about it. What this all means to you is that you have to take responsibility for your health. You have to learn about diet and lifestyle and the best habits and why you shouldn't be panicked about protein. Getting too much is more likely the what's going on than not getting enough. You have to do this yourself. And that's why several things. Food over medicine clubs are important. I've said if we're waiting for the federal government to fix eating habits in this country, they'll put me in the ground before that's going to happen. Probably most of you as well. It's up to us to make that happen. And this is why and I sometimes get pushback on this, but we do not allow health professionals we have not trained, have not been through our training programs to join our network, or we don't refer to them because we can't, because of what I just explained to you. Without the training that we offer, they're often not very good at helping patients in meaningful ways. So if you are a health professional who'd really like to be helping people to do the kind of stuff that we do with people, teach them how to be healthy instead of always rescuing them from illness, send me an email at pampopper@wellnessforum.com and we can talk about it. And in some instances, we could even help finance your education if that's something that's an impediment to doing it. So let's move on to the next thing. This will motivate you to stay the heck out of hospitals, if at all possible. They've never been a good place for people to be, even when my mother was alive. She spent a lot of time in and out of hospitals because she didn't take care of herself, and out of rehab centers for shoulder surgery and all this kind of stuff. And it wasn't good then. It's a whole lot worse now. So let me explain what I'm talking about. A new Senate report details how the purchase of hospitals and medical centers by private equity firms results in worse patient care. I've written about this issue before, purchasing assets to increase profitability and then flipping them. Well, it works great for shopping centers and apartment buildings, but not so much for medical institutions. So this has been on my radar screen for a long time, but what I'm reporting today is really shocking. So this is a Senate report that had to do with three hospitals in Connecticut that were acquired by Prospect Medical Holdings. And here's what the staff members said. They said they consistently reported that Prospect cut costs and cut corners, which resulted, of course, in worsening cares. One operating assistant reported that at one point the firm stopped paying any of the vendors for the hospital, which meant that they stopped delivering products. And according to this woman, supplies became so scarce that patients were sometimes left on the operating table while staff scrambled to find what they needed. Some started buying their own supplies, and staff even paid for food for patients out of pocket when meals weren't delivered. I mean, just think about this in three hospitals, and it's going on all over the country. Prospect also stopped maintaining the buildings, so much so that at one point a ceiling fell in a patient room. Fortunately, the patient had just been discharged, but may not have made it if the guy hadn't been. And then another ceiling fell in the trauma room, and again, did not fall on patients. It fell on computers, didn't hurt anybody. Maintenance workers provided buckets to collect the water, just to tell you how, I mean, it's hard to imagine a hospital operating this way, right? The firm that owned Prospect decided to sell the land on which the hospitals were built and lease it back at high rates, which resulted in one hospital losing so much money that all but emergency and outpatient medical health services were eliminated. Many patients were left with no full service hospital close to where they lived, and this is going on all over the country. In fact, Epic Times produced a documentary on this about all of the pressures on small towns and rural areas that are increasingly not having access to hospitals. Prospect has now filed for bankruptcy, and the ultimate fate of the hospitals is unknown. So the situation is not limited to these particular hospitals or this particular equity firm. It's going on all over the country and possibly affecting hospitals near you. So your best defense is to take good enough care of yourself that you're not going to need hospital services. The second issue is in the event that you do, make sure that your legal documents are in order if you are admitted to a hospital. Things like power of attorney, making sure that you're not an organ donor. Some of you've been listening to my videos about this and my articles about it, reading my articles. So this won't get better anytime soon. It's more likely to get a whole lot worse. And if this doesn't motivate you to take better care of yourself, I don't know what will. So I'm back to join Wellness Forum, bring friends, start a food over medicine club, help us build a movement. We all want an alternative, and I think that we have the best idea about how to do it. The biggest thing we need is more numbers. So join, tell others about us, and spread the word. Couple last things. The September workshop for members of Wellness Forum. You can't buy it. You just have to be a member. Glow from the inside out. How to look terrific as you age based on what you put in your body and what you put on your face and on your skin. And the second thing is in November, very popular ophthalmologist Dr. Neela Casey will be delivering a free workshop for members only. Again, you can't take it unless you're a member on how to improve your vision. So lots of great member stuff coming up, lots of reasons to be a member. And don't forget, next week is how to care for and feed from the head to the toes. And the following week is boot camp. Don't miss it. It's such an inexpensive, both of these are such inexpensive ways to get enormous amounts of information. We do try to make our programming as affordable as we can. All right, that's it for today. As usual, pass this on to anybody who you think would enjoy learning from me. And I'll be back to you on Thursday with more news. Thank you so much for watching.